Eminence, Father Rutler, students, alumni, faculty, staff, friends, Celts all, welcome to a place you all know so well, a place of goodness, discipline, knowledge, and community. And welcome to a place that springs forth from the heart of our church, the heart of our city, and the hearts of our people. Also, welcome to a place that is at once joyfully Catholic and open to all in goodwill. And welcome to a place of the new, a new evangelization, a new hope, new ways of growing, new impact, and a new light. Why new? Because we need to beat the new challenges that face us. This year we celebrate 70 remarkable years of this university, and those are remarkable years of growth. But all along the way there have been voices of doom, voices of doubt. You know, early on, Father Guinan, and this was right after the school opened, one of the stories that I've heard, received a letter directing him to close the University of St. Thomas. And this was right after it started. The reason? Well, they didn't think they had enough money. It just didn't look good. Things weren't going well, they thought, from afar. So he did what any practical Basilian would do. Is that right, Father Kevin? Yes. He disregarded the letter and set out to build a university. And grow we did. And then in later decades, there were other challenges. There was also a time of constriction of the university. There was fiscal concerns. We had a nursing program, and it was temporarily shuttered, we'll say for a few decades. Athletics went away, but through it all, we continued to grow. The University of St. Thomas continued to grow, and so it is today. My opportunity to be on campus and to learn from those with whom I've interacted, we have some of those same challenges, some of those same voices of doom. There's distrust, there's internal strife, there's fear, and there's doubt. All of those are present here. But we will not be defined by that darkness. No. Indeed, we will pray for those that have that doom, but we will act. And we will become a beacon of light for all. And we'll do that by building a culture of encounter. Now, some of you have heard me talk about this before, and that's not an original idea of my own. I've borrowed it from the Holy Father. And the culture of encounter, as we will understand it here at the University of St. Thomas, is one that's very close to our DNA. One that we know from the very core of our fabric, that we are about people. And when we see the person in front of us, we are present with that person. There may be dissonant chords at times, but the answer to that is we will, with dignity and respect, engage each other. We will be open to the love of each other that is in front of us. And in fact, that love will be how we will be known. Others will know us by our love from one another. And as with most things in the university, that oftentimes comes from our students. You know, our mascot here is the Celts. And many of you know what that stands for, right? Caring, engaged, loyal, transformational servant leaders. And that moniker is one that we wear proudly. It will set the tone for how we are with one another. Ours will be a radical Christian hospitality where all of goodwill will be welcomed and there will be strong input from all quarters. We are in the world, but our way is not of the world. And the world has many challenges for us, especially those of us in higher education. You know, I could talk, and Ray could do the same thing, for hours on the challenges that face higher education today. You know many of them because many of it's in the in the news media and in the culture. There's the question of college cost. There's a question of value of a college. And even locally, our Houston Chronicle this summer, one of the headlines was, "Is college a good investment? Maybe not." Now, I take strong exception to all of that, but those are good questions, and that's why our university must step forward and be clear about the value that we bring to the individual and to society as a whole. UST has, by some quarters, some financial concerns, but those concerns are not existential. Those concerns are challenges that we will overcome, as we have throughout the history of this university, and yet we continue to grow. We will grow in our partnerships. We already are a member of the Texas Medical Center, the world's largest, I've just learned that, the world's largest medical center, and a point of pride. We contribute mightily to that, and we'll continue to expand those relationships. The city of Houston and the metropolitan area is one in which we take great pride in being an active partner. We will build those relationships that will continue to thrive. Our students will have internship and experiential opportunities. We will leverage our place in the marketplace of ideas in Houston. We will also continue to engage the arts community and museums. We sit right in the middle of that. We will continue to build those bridges and accelerate our connection with that. And with our Archdiocese of Galveston and Houston, we have perfect opportunities to build those bridges and extend out. It's one of the fastest growing dioceses in the country, and we will take a leadership role along with the Cardinal in helping that come to a realization. And we also have the personal ordinariate of the Chair of St. Peter locally as well. So we will engage with our newest members of the church, at least here in the local area. Our students are engaged in ways you can't believe. They were some of the first people in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey to set out to the shelters to help people. And what did they do? They helped people, and on their way they were praying the rosary. I think that speaks volumes for how our students are engaged and what their commitments are. We will also continue to grow in the way of our enrollments. For many of you, I don't know if I've shared this with all of you yet, but our undergraduate fall enrollment continued to grow and exceeded our target. We're only one of about 30% of colleges in the country that do that. Most of them didn't even make their target. We have much to celebrate as we look forward. Spring applications for transfer students are up, and then the institution is strong as a whole. Our philanthropy continues to build. We just closed a $150 million campaign successfully and launched our new Health and Sciences Center. Those are visible signs that we are overall strong. We have operational challenges, and we will manage those, and we will succeed with them. I don't know if many of you understand this, but the University of St. Thomas is bigger than most private colleges. So sometimes we don't always think about ourselves in that way. We are a light, and even a small light sometimes pierces the darkness. And so we have often thought of ourselves as a small light, even a small college. But the University of St. Thomas is a light, yes, but it is not small. That is not our destiny, and it is not our path. From the outset, we were meant to grow. Let us grow in Christ is our university motto, and you've heard that. And we embrace boldly the righteous ambition that is embodied in our motto. To do otherwise is a betrayal of our heritage. And the strength that the University of St. Thomas has will set it apart from other institutions. In 1951, Bishop Nold, who was bishop then, addressed the graduates of the University of St. Thomas, and I think his words are prophetic for us today. He said, "May the infant St. Thomas University grow into a giant, exulting in strength and vigor. May the feeble torch lit today grow into a mighty beacon light of influence and guidance. May the motto upon the university seal be every year more extensively realized. Crescamos in Christo." Let's grow in Christ. And why do we grow? Well, it's part of our heritage and it's what we have continued to do, but there's more to that. Our world needs our voices, our students, and our light. We've seen the darkness of the 20th century. It's the time of more martyrs in aggregate than any other time or any other period in aggregate leading up to that period. We've been tested by that. Our university has an opportunity to address the questions that society poses. You know, some people think now is a post-truth era or a post-Christian era. There is the notion that there is a dictatorship of relativism, a culture of death, a church on the decline, and some would say it is finished. Yet we grow. We are a light. Many lights have flickered into being over the course of the Christian experience, and we heard about one of those earlier. In a particular way, one was ignited in France in the early 19th century. There, that small spark, begun by a group of priests amid horrid governmental persecution, endeavored to teach truth and to welcome each one's gifts and to bring them to light. The beginning of the Basilian Fathers continues to lead us today. And in fact, what they began there is really the rally point for our institution. Our faculty and staff, in a particular way, have the ability to connect with our students and our students to connect with them in an almost mystical experience of bringing to life the gifts that the Spirit has imbued each one with, both student and faculty member. And that special connection is what really sets the University of St. Thomas apart, because it is something that the vocational notion, as we Catholics understand it, is that those gifts are brought to flourish and then they are brought to be shared. That is something that we all agree on. That is the point from which we will go forward and build a united University of St. Thomas. The parable of the talents, I think, is instructive in this notion. We are given those talents, and what should we do with them? If we do not go out, if we do not share them, if we do not multiply them, then the university is worse for it. And it's counter to what we are as a growing institution. Our truth must go out into the world. We are a church on the march. We are a university on the march. And that march is for the goodness of the world, for each individual. The individual growth of our students will impact the world in ways that we can't even imagine, and they can't yet imagine either. Our new evangelization that the university embraces is one that is not about proselytizing. Ours is an open university that welcomes people of all faith and people of no faith. It is because we are Catholic that we must reach out to others of goodwill. We will be leaders in our location, in the greater Houston area, and we will be leaders beyond. Houston sits at the center of a part of North America that continues to grow for the church. It is a nexus point between cultures. It is what we do. It is university. It is the Catholic Church, and that's what we must embrace, is our destiny in fulfilling that mission. We will become more of a center for religious expression and dialogue. It is in our nature, and it is what we must do. There is also some question that people have about the role of science and the role of faith. And we've heard about that earlier today. They are like a beautiful couple dancing together. The steps work in union with one another. And we can sit back in awe and wonder as they perform the magic that brings to life their individual talents. Our beacon will burn brightly. It will be a light shining in the darkness for others. All of you have probably seen the morning sun as it glints off of the dome from the chapel of St. Basil. That is the kind of beacon, a new morning, a new hope that springs forth from us. And so I ask all of you to join me in that notion. Join together as the University of St. Thomas, as we grow together and as we light a way toward a new future for our institution, for a new future for this community, and for a new future for the world. Thank you very much.